Hello everybody. So Bitcoin is back today, MSTR is back, and the proxies are somewhat back. And if you look at the time of recording this video, Bitcoin is at 90,500. MicroStrategy was up 12%. The 2x version of MicroStrategy was up almost 26%. And if you look at the 2x ETF, and by the way, someone in the comment section told me, what about MSTU? MSTU and MSTX, as far as I'm concerned, are the same type of ETFs. They're 2x ETFs. It's way too risky for me. I think it's playing a dangerous game. But if you look at the 2-day return for MSTU or MSTX, you had nearly 64% performance over a 2-day period. Why was Bitcoin up today? Because there was some positivity and no negativity. I think that's especially what the market is about. No negativity coming up today. We had some good news hinted in the fact that, for example, Ross Ulbricht, right, the famed Bitcoiner, a lot of people in Bitcoin love him, he was at the State of the Union address. So this may be signaling that Trump is pro-Bitcoin. We had some game theory going on with people in Belarus, the head of Belarus saying, hey, we might want to mine Bitcoin. So this is a game theory, right? This is the whole theory that more and more states are going to be mining Bitcoin. And you had a list come out of people coming to the event on Friday, including Brian Armstrong. I had said that in my past video, and CZ. I had said that in my past video. These are all of the main people in crypto coming to the event, including Vitalik Buterin, including Charles Hoskinson. This one will make a few people mad. Cathie Wood. So this is very positive news. He's really rallying a lot of people around this event. And the last point is that there was a confirmation that the reserve from Howard Lutnick, that the reserve was a Bitcoin reserve strategy. And so we're back on saying it's just going to be Bitcoin. Is it just going to be Bitcoin? I don't know, but that's what a lot of people are saying. And so now, let me go to the proxies and talk about the proxies. The first proxy I want to talk about is MicroStrategy, MSTR. So MicroStrategy is back up today at 308, right? It did not drop more than 222, which I think is the lowest it got to. This stock is so volatile. MicroStrategy common shares are so volatile. Like I said, that's why MSTX, I couldn't withstand this much volatility. But if you look at the market cap over Bitcoin NAV, right? The price to NAV, the famed price to NAV now in the MicroStrategy community, we're back at a 1.73. We had fallen as low as a 1.46. This tells me two things: that A, looking at the price to NAV and tracking it is a way to figure out when the stock is cheap. Thing number one. Thing number two is at a 1.73, I could see a possibility that Saylor gets back to this, that Saylor gets back to issuing the ATM and using the ATM. And I know some people will be disappointed, but again, if you're a common stockholder, that's a cheap way to earn yield. Another company that I want to talk about is Semler. Now, Semler, I do want to say, what is going on with Semler's stock price? I don't understand. This stock price to NAV is now a 1.28, and that is way too low if you ask me for this stock, for a stock that has an actual business under it. And so in a typical fashion, what I do is I will remove the Bitcoin bag to actually get the Bitcoin bag adjusted enterprise value. What's the intrinsic value left in the business if you remove the Bitcoin bag, the highly saleable Bitcoin bag? So you see, with the Bitcoin bag, right now, Semler is trading at 6 times sales, 16 times EBITDA. That's pretty cheap as is. But if you remove the Bitcoin bag from the enterprise value, you can see it's 82 million. We have 82 million of value, of intrinsic value, of intangible value in Semler. And what do I see? Bitcoin bag adjusted enterprise value over EBITDA, you get a 3.9x, a 3.9 time is the price to pay. So price you pay on EV over EBITDA. This is very cheap. This is way too cheap, and I don't understand why this stock is so inexpensive. And I might be doing a deep dive on this one because the market is clearly, in my view, miscalculating this one. Moving on to another stock that is very cheap is 1.27 price to NAV is Mara. Mara is, of course, the largest Bitcoin holder, the largest holder of Bitcoin, and as the largest holder of just a sec. No, it's not the largest holder of Bitcoin. It's the largest miner. I mean, it's the largest miner of Bitcoin, and it's ridiculously cheap. All right, I'm back. Okay, I'm sorry. I was getting mad at the Robinhood app. I have never seen someone speak so slow. It's like they advertise all afternoon this thing, and they throw out such a slow speaker. Anyways, moving on. So I was getting mad at the Robinhood app here. Anyways, going back to Mara, I meant to say they are the biggest exahash miner. They're the biggest miner. They're obviously not the biggest holder of Bitcoin. The biggest holder of Bitcoin is MicroStrategy with almost 500,000 Bitcoin. They are the biggest miner. Mara is still ridiculously cheap at 1.27. In fact, I used to consider this stock cheap starting at 1.5. Yes, Mara doesn't have the newest miners, but their strategy at Mara is to keep the old miners running and to have near zero cost of electricity in order to increase the life of miners, moving them from a useful life of 3 to 4 years to a useful life of 8 years or even beyond that. They have a strategy that works for them. When the price of Mara fell to 1.08, it was absolutely nuts. I bought Mara at these levels, and frankly, at 1.27, I often think about buying Mara too. And the last thing I wanted to say in this video is talking about, of course, Cleanspark. A lot of you in my comment section talk about Cleanspark. Cleanspark increased their mining bag. All of the websites that track Bitcoin treasuries have not updated it. I've updated it for you. They now have 11,177 Bitcoin, which means that 42% of the market cap of Cleanspark is now made of Bitcoin. But Cleanspark is the most expensive proxy on a market cap to Bitcoin NAV at a 2.38. You are paying a 138% premium over the Bitcoin at Cleanspark. What this means is that the market is putting a large value on the mining business itself. It's putting a value of 1.4 billion on the mining business itself. It is expensive. Why is it expensive? Because Cleanspark is the most efficient miner, and as a result of that, it's going to be the more expensive buy. Cleanspark did very well in February. They increased their Bitcoin buy by 6%, and it's all a mined increase, and they are well on their way to reach and exceed 50 exahash by June 30th, 2025. When they exceed 50 exahash, they will be the biggest miner out there. They will be bigger than Marathon. They're not there yet, but they'll essentially be there in about 3 months, and they are updating their sites in order to welcome these new miners that they ordered. And if you remember me covering Cleanspark in the day, they bought options for these miners. They got a really good price on these miners, and so I am happy to see them do that, but the stock hasn't been doing too well, unfortunately, and that probably has to do with the mining part of the business just losing value as these companies have been battered. It's just the way to say it. A lot of people have taken the gamma trade to Bitcoin miners, not just to MicroStrategy, and I do believe the miners are heavily undervalued, even Cleanspark, and frankly, the space is not getting the respect that it deserves, but that's why I'm a long-term investor and a long-term holder, and I own Cleanspark, I own Mara, I own MicroStrategy, and I am looking to add to Semler really quickly, especially if it remains this cheap. So anyways, hopefully you found this useful. This was not investment advice, not financial advice, just entertainment, and I hope you were more entertained by my show than the Robinhood trivia. I really hope so. My viewers are smarter than that. Anyways, please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.